And once we realized we're going to be on the show, we started thinking, we should go on Shark Tank with a new product, something that's a higher turnover. So why don't we create our own plant-based chicken?
Hey everyone, this is Nazar Akil from Max Pro.
Hi, I'm Linda.
And I'm Paul.
And we're 11 Pebbles.
Hi, this is Lopa Vandermersch from Rasa.
And you're listening.
And you are listening to the E-Comm Show.
Welcome to the E-Comm Show, presented by BlueTuskr, the #1 place to hear the inside scoop from other e-commerce experts, where they share their secrets on how they scaled their business and are now living the dream. Now, here is your host, Andrew Math.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. I'm your host, Andrew Math, as usual, and today I am joined by Khasha and Maynard of Jada Brands. This is going to be a great one. Love having consumables on the show, and I'm sure everyone has already heard of this brand already, so we're going to get into it. Khasha, Maynard, you guys ready for a good show? You ready to do this?
We're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to be on.
Beautiful. Thanks. So why don't I let either of you or both of you kind of kick it off a little bit, tell us a little bit about Jada Brands, where you guys got started, and how you got where you're at, and we'll kind of start from there.
Sure, I can start. So my name is Khasha. We launched Jada Brands around 2016. It started off with just literally mixing a seasoning in my kitchen. I grew up in Australia, where chicken salt is a big phenomenon there. You go to a restaurant and you get French fries, there's salt, pepper, and a lot of Australians ask for chicken salt. And when I was in my training to be a physician, I noticed, we don't have any chicken salt here, and I would always struggle with my patients who had high blood pressure, diabetes. And one thing I thought of was, these patients, they want to eat better, but it's hard to eat better and also maintain, good taste. And the only thing I could think of is what my mom gave me when I was growing up, and that was chicken salt. If I didn't eat something, she would just put some chicken salt on my food, and then I would eat it. And so I was like, Americans need chicken salt. And so we created a vegan version of the product. It's gluten-free, MSG-free. We launched it here, and then subsequently after that, we launched a product called turmeric salt, and it's turmeric with some spices, and it's a good balance for people who are trying to be healthy but also need salt in their diet. And we got very lucky. Valerie Bertinelli put our chicken salt on the show, and that really, on her cooking show, and that really put us on the map. And then we had a couple of chain of events, but let me have Maynard also just, tell you guys who he is, and then we can talk about how we got onto Shark Tank and all that.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. Pretty much Khasha highlighted the history of the company, kind of the origin of everything. Me and Khasha actually met in college at the University of Washington in Seattle. Go Huskies for all the dogs out there. And we'd always kept in touch, always been friends. And he was in Miami at the time, and I had just moved down to LA. And when he presented the idea about chicken salt, and I hadn't never heard of chicken salt either myself. And it sounded great, sounded a good idea. And we'd always kind of talked about doing some business or doing some sort of collaboration together at some point. And so I came on board, and I was kind of helping out with social media and some random other stuff. And like I said, we just had a really unique chain of events. Valerie Bertinelli highlighted our product on one of her recipes on the Food Network. And we had some other just random viral moments that just took off that really helped build some momentum with our business. And so then later on, we talked about coming on full time as a partner to kind of help the company continue to grow and just kind of be more strategic with how we're going to lay out the company. And that's how our connection came to be, with us coming on board as partners on the project. And it's been a crazy ride. We've been doing obviously a lot of the vegan festivals across the country. A lot of people getting more familiar with our product, which has been amazing. And, we don't have a background in food. My background's in civil and environmental engineering. Khasha works as a dermatologist. But, we had a passion for, what we thought would be great options to be able to provide good, healthy eating for people. And that's really our motto, is really be able to encourage healthier home cooking. And so that's what we try to do with our brand of products.
That's so interesting because you two have completely different backgrounds from what you're doing. So are both of you doing this full time now, or is this, or how's that working?
Yeah, I mean, look, we do this as full time as possible. So I'm a dermatologist, 3 to 5 days a week, and then in my off hours, I'm working on this, whether it's the weekend, evening, before work, during my lunch, and it's definitely become a big commitment. And I mean, the dream is to make this our full time jobs, but with startups is just it's so up and down, and it's hard to just be like, okay, let's quit what we're doing and then now just do this.
Yeah,
But we at least put in at least 40 to 60 hours a week just working on this every week.
yeah, that's full
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I always tell people, yeah, we're basically running two full time businesses, between both of us. Koch is doing his dermatology work and Jada work. I'm a science communicator, so I'm doing all sorts of science projects, and I work on my own, so that definitely helps being able to run kind of my own business and kind of delegate my time as needed. But yeah, when we're not doing any of our other work or other priorities, we're doing this, and we're talking at random hours of the day and nights and weekends, and putting the time to continue to help the business grow. And it's me and Kasha running pretty much everything, and we have a really small team still, so we're definitely fully hands on.
Yeah, nice. So you mentioned, the chicken salt and the turmeric salt and the growth from there, but you also have expanded the product line outside of that, correct?
Yeah, so what happened was, I think about 2 years ago, we actually had a meeting with Beyond Meats, and Beyond Meats at the time had a chicken that they took off the market, and we came to them and we met with their whole R&D team, and we basically were trying to convince them to bring back their chicken using our chicken salt seasoning because it has such a chickeny taste. And they were really, really interested, and we honestly thought we were going to get a deal. Like, we thought that this was going to be our huge breakthrough, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. And so at that time, we were auditioning for Shark Tank, and once we realized we're going to be on the show, we started thinking, we should go on Shark Tank with a new product, something that's a higher turnover. And then we thought, why don't we create our own plant-based chicken? And so we worked on we worked with an engineer, and we launched a shelf-stable plant-based chicken. It's not something that needs to be refrigerated, and it's a really versatile product. You literally just add oil and water, and you can shape it into a patty, a meatball, a nugget, crumbles, and yeah, we launched that off Shark Tank, and it was definitely quite the experience.
It's always interesting when we have sellers on the show that have been on Shark Tank because it's always a different reason for why they went on the show. The one thing you mentioned that sounded very interesting. So you were already going to be on the show, but then you decided to expand the product line uh, into this plant based chicken you just mentioned. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we went on when we came up with the idea. We had a prototype, and we went on the show wanting to get money to launch the product. And so we knew we had a killer product, and the sharks loved it. And you can see by the reaction in their video.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically our goal was to get capital to actually launch the product in retail and online and etc.
Wow.
Yeah, the crazy story
So
about that
obviously
is,
you're selling a lot online. Yeah.
oh
Oh,
no, I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say the crazy story about that was, we were in we're like full R&D mode with the plant based chicken. We hadn't even started selling the product or anything yet, but we knew we needed to have something that was gonna really bring that wow
Mm-hmm.
factor when we went on the show. And we kind of started thinking, coming up to the or leading up to the show, that we may not have enough with just our seasonings to really gain an investment from the sharks. So we needed something that was going to be unique, and kind of showcase a breakthrough. And this is something that we always had in mind, and we were still in R&D on it. but we were able to put together enough product to be able to actually present some for the sharks to taste. And so we were actually really on the fence of whether or not we were going to have the sharks try it out, because we hadn't really fully gone through the whole process yet ourselves. And so the reaction you see on our faces were like, was definitely a reaction of like, oh, we really hope they like this, because we had no idea how it was going to turn out. And so yeah, so that was definitely, we were excited that we did that. Khasha talked me into it, because I was on the fence of whether or not we should present it to them even right, like leading up to the show, like just an hour before. And we're glad we did, because that was definitely the big selling point for us on the show.
Yeah. So what's life been like after the show? Like, do you, every time, when you air and all that stuff, is that something where you guys are ahead of that schedule and you kind of adjust your marketing to reflect that, we got a rerun coming or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, now, the first few reruns, I think with every rerun we've gotten better and better. And now we definitely feel more comfortable. With the first rerun, it was definitely more challenging. It was weird because the first time we ran, it was the day that Joe Biden was like about to give some speech. And so during our first of all, our episode got moved from, I think it was like the 8 o'clock prime time to like 11 o'clock. And so a lot of people didn't even see that episode. We actually did decently well, and then we had another rerun like 2 months later, um, and that was like, in our opinion, that was like our first run, because so many people missed the first episode. And it was definitely challenging to keep up with the orders. Maynard and I, because our warehouse is in Miami, and we both live in LA, we were doing red eyes to Miami to help our logistics team put the orders together, and then we would red eye it back. And I mean, thinking back now, I mean, there was one night I slept on the warehouse floor from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. On like a piece of cardboard, just to keep it going. And now that I think about it, we ended up, because it was just getting so much, we teamed up with a logistics company, and which we should have probably done in the beginning, but we weren't aware. We had done QVC runs, so we thought we could easily handle this because we could handle QVC. But Shark Tank is just a different ball game.
Yeah. So you just mentioned your fulfillment center's in Miami, but you guys are based at LA. What's with the cross country fulfillment center, and why in Miami, considering the difficulty of leaving that area?
Yeah, so no, I actually I did my training as a dermatologist in Miami, and so the business started there. And so the third person in our company, Jorge, he lives there, and he's running the logistics. And so we've kind of just kept the warehouse there. But we work with ShipBob, and that main warehouse is in Dallas. So yeah.
Yeah. So nice. What has your marketing strategy been? Like, I know with consumables, it's incredibly challenging because, typically no one wants to be the first one to taste something that they haven't put in their mouth, especially if it's on e-commerce where, your chances are you got to buy a good amount because of shipping and all that fun stuff. Like, how have you been able to kind of get over those hurdles and get people to order the products online or even just try them in retail?
I think one of the benefits, or one of the good things that has happened, is when we were on Shark Tank, we have a video of the sharks tasting our product. And so when you see their reactions, they're like, "Oh my God, this tastes like chicken. Oh my God, you just added oil and water. That's it. Oh my God, it only has 120 calories per serving." Just having that shock factor and having these credible people just kind of vouch for the product, that's helped us immensely. Definitely this year has been more challenging since, with iOS, you can't really track people's activity, and so it's getting harder and harder to target people. But I think, for us, I think that's been the main thing. We because most people are doing the influencer route. You got these credible people who are vouching for your product. Most people know that these people are probably getting paid to vouch for the product. But on Shark Tank, if they don't like your product, they're going to spit it out. And so when you see somebody like them vouch for the product, I think that's what's helped us the most.
Yeah. What's the expansion of the product line look like as you guys get down? Like as time goes on, obviously you're going to have to expand the product line for the business to continue to grow. Have you thought about what you're going to end up putting into the pipeline to start testing out?
Yeah, we definitely have a couple of ideas. I have a few ideas that I feel like would be groundbreaking in this industry, to be quite honest. But I don't want to put it out there because somebody's going to take it. But I think and this has been kind of I know Maynard, Maynard is always, to me, like, all right, we need to slow down. And I'm always like, no, we need more products. Let's keep going. So it's kind of a good balance. But I think it's kind of it's been a hard learning process that, you just cannot keep launching more and more products. We need to keep building out what we have, see if it works. If it doesn't, discontinue, and just focus on what we have. Once it becomes stable, then go to the next one. But I mean, ideally, we've been making a lot of stuff, in the chicken space, from chicken salt. We have a Mediterranean chicken. We just launched a barbecue chicken. To our knowledge, there's not really any barbecue plant-based chickens on the market, and so we feel like, it's a good niche that we're hitting. And we also have and then we just revamped our original chicken. And I think at this time, our goal is to just focus on what we have, try expand it, and once we feel comfortable, then start adding more SKUs.
Beautiful. Where are you currently available? I know you obviously have your own site, but have you ventured into the different marketplaces? What retail stores are you in, if any? Like, what's the sales channels looking like?
Yeah, our seasonings are in the biggest retailer in Texas, H-E-B, and Central Market. Our plant-based chicken is in Sprouts nationwide, and we're also in Whole Foods, Florida. And we just have been sending emails just this week to see if they'll bring on our barbecue chicken and maybe take it nationwide. One thing we've learned is, getting into retail is cool, but if you cannot move the product, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. So we're not in any rush to get mass retail expansion, because a lot of these companies will get investors, spend a lot of money, they get on all these shelves, product doesn't move, and then the company goes bankrupt. But we're kind of focusing on these kind of just health only retailers, like Sprouts and Whole Foods.
Beautiful. Honestly, don't want to take up too much more of your guys' time. I know you guys are slammed. Really appreciate you guys being on the show. I would love to give you an opportunity here, let everyone know where they can find out more about yourselves, obviously, and of course, Jada Brands.
Yeah, sure. You can buy our products on Amazon. Also jadabrands.com, JADA. And then if you go to any local Sprouts, you can buy our plant-based chicken there. And if you live in Texas, definitely go check us out at HEB.
Love it. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Obviously, everyone that tuned in, per the usual, please make sure you rate, review, subscribe on whichever podcast platform you want, or YouTube, or just head over to ecommshow.com. But as usual, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the E-Comm Show.